Hey everybody, it's Rob. It's been a little bit since I updated. I figured on today, my 2-year maniversary, that I would update all the stuff that I've kind of went through in the last 2 years. I'm trying to make it kind of quick, but the list is pretty long, so yeah, I'll just get right into that. I didn't do a big video with past pictures or anything like that because one, I don't have Lindsay around to do all the fancy computer stuff anymore, and two, because I wanted to make it somewhat as short as I could. So here we go. Started out with my appetite changing. I just felt hungry all the time. I couldn't get enough to eat. That over time has tapered off, and I don't feel like that anymore. It was pretty much the first 6 months or so. It was just really intense, so thankfully it doesn't do that anymore. The voice drop, obviously everybody knows that happened. I look back at my old videos and it's mind-boggling. I can't believe that my voice was ever so high, and it was ridiculous. I got acne, kind of the puberty things that you have to go through with transitioning. I didn't get it extremely bad. I still get pimples and stuff every now and then. The main problem that I have now after 2 years is I'm still getting hair on my shoulders, and so quite often I'll get acne going on, and it's not a high volume. It's just 1 or 2 here or there once in a while, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. Hair coming in everywhere. I didn't originally start as a very hairy person, so it's really weird when you start getting hair in places that it never was an issue before, where I didn't ever shave it before, and it's just naturally coming in dark and thick. And so like happy trail, inner thighs, ass crack, stuff like that. I was like, okay, I guess it comes with the territory, but it's still kind of like, really? Does this have to happen? My jawline has become more chiseled, I think, but it may also have to do with just losing that baby fat chubby cheek look that I had before. It's not like, you know, anything drastic, but it's something. I've also told that my chin dimple here is more defined than it used to be, though I don't know. That's not one of the things I've been focusing on, so I'm not sure. My body temperature changed, or at least the way that I feel, you know, just sitting, doing nothing, and sweating when it's not hot outside or anything like that. I was originally kind of a person that felt warm all the time. I wasn't the type who liked to be hot. Like, I didn't like extra covers or anything like that, but now I'm just hot for no reason, and I thought that was pretty interesting. The fat redistribution that I've experienced has been terrific, and yet it's still not to the point where I would like it to be. But also, again, you know, I haven't been working out or doing much of anything. I have just changed some of my eating habits. I don't eat as much fry food anymore. I don't drink as much soda as I used to. I used to drink a lot of Dr. Pepper. I don't drink so much of that. But overall, I haven't really been doing anything to modify my physical being. And so I found that pretty interesting. I've lost 25 pounds since I started testosterone, and I've went down 2 pant sizes, and I'm right in that middle range of going down another pant size, where the pants are kind of uncomfortably too tight, but the size that I'm currently wearing is a little too baggy, and it's still falling off of my ass. And my ass has been one of those things where the fat redistribution has really come away from there. I used to have quite a bit of junk in the trunk, and it's not so much anymore. So thankfully, that's one of the favorite things that I've dealt with in this transition so far. My boobs are smaller. They have, I deflated, I guess you could say, at least 1/3 of their original size. Like I said, I haven't been working out, so there hasn't been any reason for them to go down much more than they have, but they have naturally with hormones went down a little bit, so that's nice. My shoulders have seemed like they're broadening out. I wear sports bras when I don't wear my binders, and the sports bras that I had when I started, they feel tighter on me even though my boobs are smaller, so I feel like that's probably because of the broadening of the shoulders and the rib cage area, probably a little bit of extra back muscle or shoulder muscle that's causing it to widen out a little bit. So some people don't know this. People that aren't trans or know trans individuals don't know some of the things that happen with hormones. The downstairs area, the clitoris, will enlarge quite a bit more than you would expect. So that has happened with me after 2 years. It's considerably much bigger than it originally is. So that's one more thing to cover that has happened. Sex drive has went up, and some of it, I think, is partially due to the enlarged clitoris area because it's much more out there and rubbing in your pants, and it's more sensitive in some ways. So I guess because it's just more exposed. But yeah, the sex drive, it was pretty high to begin with before hormones, but it's much more now. The muscle gain that I've experienced has, like I said, I haven't been working out, so however this muscle is building magically, it is. But I still, obviously, if I could work out, I think that I would see a lot more changes happen quickly because my muscles are just practically begging me to do, more, to build them up more. I have gotten comments from people that just say that my arms look ripped, and I kind of laugh at them. It's hard. I'm horrible at taking compliments, but I kind of laugh at them because I don't feel like they are. Especially, when I know people like Dade, and he has massive biceps, and they're very impressive, and I feel like mine are minuscule and not impressive. So I guess I need to work on thanking people when they compliment me, but it does help feel better about myself, I guess, when other people notice those things that I don't feel are really noticeable. So let's see, my pheromones have changed. Just my own personal body smell. It's a lot more musky, a lot more stinky. I sweat more because I'm hotter. So there's times where I just feel like I need to take 2 showers a day or something. I'm just so not used to stinking at all. Before testosterone, I didn't really sweat unless I was doing a very physical activity. So it's really weird being like polar opposite, stinking and sweating all the time. It's one of those things. I'm not sure if I'll ever get used to that. I don't like being a stinky guy, so obviously, wearing deodorant and colognes kind of help mask my own nose from smelling myself, and I know that I'm more sensitive than anybody else is to the smell because it's mine, and I'm around it all the time. But that's something that I have to get used to if I ever will get used to it. So I also wanted to talk about public restrooms. It's one of those things that some people, when they first start out on transition, they either hold it, they don't go to public restrooms because of being questioned or, God forbid, attacked or assaulted or what have you. It's a very unsafe environment for trans individuals. And I think it was around 9 months on testosterone where I felt like I physically looked male, so nobody was going to question if I went into a male restroom. And so I have been going into male restrooms ever since about 9 months on testosterone. And there's no problem with it at all. There was never any question when I went in there. It was just more awkward in that middle phase between, you know, when you still kind of look like a butch female, you don't quite look fully male, and you try to go into a restroom of any kind. Either way, they can give you horrible looks or, you know, call security or whatever. Luckily, I just decided to go into handicapped restrooms or family restrooms so that I didn't have that confrontation, because before hormones, I had that confrontation with a lady in the women's restroom before I started transitioning. She would pull her child away from me like I had the plague or like I was a pedophile. And that's really awkward when you just want to go in and pee and then leave. So thankfully, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Just go into the men's restroom, pee, and I'm done, I'm good. So that's one of the things I wanted to mention, especially for, you know, some non-trans people that might watch this video. A lot of people don't think about how hard it is to do some of the most simple everyday things, but it can be very uncomfortable for trans individuals, and that's something that we have to work toward overcoming through our transitions. Let's see. For those of you who follow me on YouTube, you would know that I had a long, horrible time with my period not stopping. Most trans guys, I think, that I have researched, they lose their period, it just stops within a few months, usually the first year of being on testosterone. Mine continued until just about 2 years. I had about 4 visits with my OBGYN, and eventually we did some things, got it to stop. I'm a very happy camper because it was very awkward and uncomfortable working in an area where it was only men in our department, and so having to be discreet and hide tampons was a huge discomfort, and it was just annoying. So thankfully that all has ceased, and I'm very happy about that. My confidence level has multiplied, went through the roof pretty much. I'm so happy about who I am and how far I've come so far. I still feel like I have a long way to go, but compared to where I was 2 years ago, I would not trade this feeling right now for anything. I just love where I'm at right now. I love the way I'm looking. I love the way I'm sounding. I just feel physically confident with who I am, which is not to say that I don't have dysphoria. I still have body dysphoria, mainly because of my boobs. I have not been able to have top surgery yet, so that's just my daily reminder of, you know, what I need to work toward. But I can't let that get me down when I've come so far already and I've made great progress. So I just try to remind myself of that every time I feel down a little bit. So I also wanted to mention that I've noticed the male privilege. Society has a way of doing little things that give men privilege over women. And I'm not a feminist activist or anything like that. I just believe in equality. And most women that I know can beat any man at just about anything. Women are amazingly strong and resilient, and they're capable of going on little to no sleep. They're capable of growing a body within themselves and feeding it from their own body. Women they're superior in my mind to men, and yet society still does things that give men all of the privileges. And I don't want to, break it down and do a whole bunch of examples, but just anything out in public, they will speak to the man or give him the first say or pretty much let him do whatever he wants. And if a woman says or wants to do anything, well, tough shit. They treat her like, well, you're just a woman. So I have noticed being treated completely different. And in a way, it's breathtaking, but it's still sad to be able to be in the position where I've seen both sides of that personally. And unfortunately, I don't know if society is ever going to change that. I'm not even sure if they're aware of how much it happens, but I just wanted to mention that. That's one of the social things that I've noticed on my transition in these 2 years. I went to the endocrinologist just yesterday for my 2-year checkup, and he lowered my dose because my red blood cell count is pretty high, and he also said that my testosterone level is way above the normal range for a guy my age. And we don't know why that is, because my dose has been pretty consistent for about a year and a half. And I did have an IUD, which my OBGYN took out, and that is essentially what made my period stop, coincidentally enough. But you would think that my hormones would maybe need to be upped a little bit, but with my genetics and for whatever reason, my testosterone is out of control. So we're lowering my dose, and I'm going to see him in 6 months and see how that's all going. But overall, I'm so happy with where I am now. I have supportive friends and family who love me, complete strangers who meet me for the first time, and I'm very open about myself. They're just so accepting and not at all offensive in any way. I try to educate when I can. I do panels for the local community college here. And I just feel very blessed, and I'm happy to share this video with all of you, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.